everyone, this is Ephesus, and today I'd like to share with you a stamina Dragonknight build that I've been working on. This is a medium armor stamina Dragonknight build. It hits pretty hard. So let's just go ahead and start off with a character sheet. Looking at 35,000 max stamina, 16,000 maximum health, 11,000 magicka. Stamina recovery is $14.99. Weapon damage comes in 2,841 unbuffed, 26% weapon critical. Spell resistance 18k, physical resistance 15k, crit resistance 1,290. I don't have all the pieces retraded yet because transmute crystals are a slow and painful process, but I'm working on getting the rest of that in pin. I'm probably just going to go all in pin with this build. You could go for 5 in pin and 3 well fitted because we are sworded board. That might work out. More to your playstyle, but it's really up to you. For right now, I'm thinking all in pin is probably going to work best for me. I'm running the Serpent Mundus Stone, Dubious Cameron Throne. If you have the money, Take Me Broth, basically the better version of Dubious. But if you don't have the money like me, you can run this and it should be completely fine. Weapon damage, fully buffed, should be just under 4k. Let's go right over here and I'll show you. My two-hander going.
And desist.
Weapon damage 3,948. So I mean we just missed 4k weapon damage on this build.
You're just spring loaded today, aren't you?
You could probably hit that over 4k mark if you have golded out jewelry. I just don't have any golded out jewelry right now. And for the resistances, they'll go up, of course, for volatile armor. So our resistances are looking okay for a medium armor build. A little on the low side, but we are really good on the damage on this build, so gotta sacrifice something. So 23 and 21 on the resistances. When you have your volatile armor up, which you should have up all the time. Go ahead and get into the sets here. The first set I'm running is Spriggans. We are a sword and board, so you just run a Spriggan's dagger, or an axe, or a sword, whatever you have available to you. Weapon damage enchant, infused. And the Spriggan's shield, stamina enchant. Working on getting in pin for this. Right now it's well fitted, so that works as well until I get that transmuted. And Spriggan's battle axe, befouled weapon enchant, and Nirnhound. Monster set is Velodrith. Really like Velodrith on this set. I was running Celine's, and in my experience, the Velodrith has a little bit more damage. Gives you 129 weapon damage, and when you deal damage, you have a 20% chance to spawn 3 disease spores in front of you after 1 second. That deal 13,209 disease damage to the first enemy they hit. It's on a 9-second cooldown. Celine's is a conal single target proc. This can hit up to 3 people, which is nice. If you charge into a group of people, you can get a lot of damage off into that group, because I would say 70% of the time this procs like on your on your shield charge. It sounds crazy, but it seems like a really high proc chance. Second set is Sheer Venom. This set is really cool in my opinion. It gives you max stam, weapon damage, and when you deal damage with an execute ability, you infect the enemy dealing 11,207 poison damage over 6 seconds. And that is on a 6-second cooldown. So basically, every 6 seconds, you hit somebody with an execute ability. They don't have to be in execute range. You just got to be hit with an execute ability. So, what would those count as? Poison arrow, reverse slash, got impin. Want everything impin. I just didn't have enough transmute crystals. So impin on all pieces, and try enchant on the big pieces. And for the skills, on your sword and board bar, I went with Shielded Assault. You could run the other morph of this. It's really up to your preference. Basically your gap closer. Deals physical damage and stuns them for 3 seconds. This one gives you the damage shield of 2,000 over 6 seconds, which is not really a whole lot of damage shield, but it's something. And it could help when you go in to attack, just mitigate some damage you might take. Volatile armor, bread and butter, Dragonknight resistance buff. Also deals a small amount of magic damage to any enemy that uses a direct attack against you. Not really anything to write home about. This can pull Nightblades out of stealth, but it's very frustrating to rely on that. So don't just try to rely on this if you've got a Nightblade around you. Try to get away, or just hold block until they reveal themselves. It's much more useful than to just pop this and run around and look for them. Next up, you got Reflective Plate. This is kind of a flex spot. You could swap Reflective Plate out for Power Bash, which I am trying to get morphed to Reverberating Bash. And we've got Venomous Claw. It's your poison damage over time ability. Hits really hard. That 14,000 poison damage over 10 seconds is no joke. It deals increased damage the longer it lasts, so you want to let this tick all the way out, and make sure not to over apply this, because you want it to run its full duration. And then next is Heroic Slash. It's going to deal a nice chunk of physical damage and then reduce their movement speed by 60% for 4 seconds. Also applies Minor Maim, reducing their damage done for 12 seconds. Gives you Minor Heroism, granting you 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. So this is a really nice ability. We are going to be weaving this. I'll show you that during the rotation. Basically what you can do is Light Attack, Heroic Slash, Bash, all pretty much at the same time. You can animation cancel your Light Attack with Heroic Slash, and then as soon as the Heroic Slash animation starts, you bash, and your Heroic Slash damage will land and your bash will land at the same time. It hits surprisingly hard. It's just a little bit difficult to land due to the fact that it is kind of a weird rotation, the way it feels. You just gotta get used to the way it looks. And then finally, Spell Wall. Spell Wall is really strong. I think you get to block all attacks at no cost for 7 seconds. Not only that, but you will reflect projectiles cast on you for 7 seconds. So it's a 7-second reflective plate, basically. And there's, if I'm reading this right, there's no cap on how many projectiles you can reflect. It just reflects all for 7 seconds. So it seems like a little redundant running Reflective Plate and Spell Wall, but generally there's so much damage on the field. There's so many Sorks fragging you. There's so many people spamming lethal arrow and whatever. It doesn't hurt to have it. If you find this a little bit too redundant, you can swap this out for something like corrosive armor. That ultimate is really strong in my opinion. And I have used it quite a lot actually. Just go ahead and get the skill if you want and make a judgment call. You know, instance to instance, battleground to battleground, makes whatever you think suits the situation. And on the back bar, a two-handed bar, I've got Fragmented Shield. This is going to be for you and your allies. Basically gives them a damage shield, and it gives everybody major mending that you affect with this. Usually what I'll do is Fragmented Shield into a Vigor, or vice versa, depending on the situation. Just pull that low number right there. Or if you're really in trouble, go ahead and pop your rally, Vigor, like that. Generally, you want to shield first, Vigor, so you get the full effect just for you and your team. But in certain situations when you're under a lot of pressure, you might want to get everything running first and then pop a shield. Resolving Vigor, pretty much use this and all the time. I never really swapped this out for anything. Just keep it running. Rally. Forward momentum, you could use forward momentum instead of reflective plate and just rely on forward momentum to get out of snares and immobilization effects. Forward momentum is better than reflective plate for that. But the rally is a super nice burst heal, and it feels scary at times to play a medium armor build right now because you just take so much damage. So rally gives you a little bit more comfort in knowing that you've got a nice burst heal available when you need it. But you could run forward momentum. Executioner, this is your execute. That's gonna be proccing sheer venom. Every 6 seconds you wanna hit somebody with this. And then finally, this is Brawler. It's kind of a niche skill. Not a lot of people use this. I like it a lot. Once you get used to the cone and what 7 meters kind of looks like, and the range of the cone, how far someone can be to your left or right, and still hit them with this, then it's actually quite fun to use. Just another bleed on this build. You got a lot of pressure on this build. This deals upfront physical damage, and then has a bleed that lasts for 10 seconds. It also gives you a 2400 damage shield for 8 seconds. So everybody you hit, you increase that damage shield by 100%. So you hit 3 people, it's 300% stronger. Basically, you'll want to like dash in, try to line everybody up with a cleave. And on the back bar ultimate, you got Take Flight. This thing hurts. Just under 20k tooltip on this. Knocks them back, stuns them. It's just a lot of fun. You are going to get a lot of kills with this ability, and it hits extremely hard. As for the passives, you want all the passives in Ardent Flame. Combustion increases the damage of your burning and poison status effects. We've got the poison running, and when you apply poison to an enemy, you restore 500 stamina. It can occur every 5 seconds. That's really good. When you deal direct damage to the Ardent Flame ability, it reduces your move speed by 30% for 3 seconds. Another snare. This one is not really used, but if you want, you could run a Searing Strike instead of a Cleave, for example, or even the Reflective Plate. As World and Ruin decreases the cost of your stamina poison abilities by 25%. That was a buff, I believe, that stamina Dragonknights or stamina classes gained. In Murkmire, it was a reduction to the cost of stamina abilities, and World and Ruin also gives you decreased cost of your stamina poison abilities by 25%. I'll take Iron Skin in case you do need to block a meteor or a heavy attack or something. Healing received is increased by 12%. Not bad at all. Health recovery, get a bonus of 5% for every draconic power ability slotted. And increases the range of your melee attacks by 2 meters. That's really nice. The only ones we're running as far as abilities are the ultimate, Take Flight, Volatile Armor, and Reflective Plate if you choose to slot it. So you get a nice bonus. %, health recovery bonus on your sword and board bar. Increases the duration of your Earth and Heart abilities by 20%. When you cast an ultimate ability, it restores some health, magicka, and stamina for each point of the ultimate's cost. Battle Roars is great. When you cast an Earth and Heart ability, you and your group may tally for 20 seconds, increasing your weapon damage by 10%. That goes along with your other weapon damage, so technically where we're at right now, you should actually hit over 4k weapon damage with Mountain's Blessing. So Fragmented Shield should give you that. Go test that out real quick. That buff right here.
Why, I never.
4,700 weapon damage. So that would be a little tricky to work into your rotation. I guess you could buff up hit him like that in a nice little chunk.
This is not what I was built for.
So yeah, you run all your Dragonknight passives,
I'm glad that's over
basically. And that will also give you stamina back when you cast your Fragmented Shields. All the two-handed passives, you want to take those. All the one-handed shield passives, you want to take those. You want to take the top 3 in light armor, all of medium armor, if you want to sneak, and the top 3 in heavy armor. And of course all your racial passives. And we can't forget you do want to take Gourmand and Connoisseur. I haven't unlocked this yet on this character. And as well medicinal use from alchemy. So a little bit about the rotation basically. I apologize in advance, my internet is kind of bad, so if this lags or cuts out in the middle of this, that's why. But you're gonna buff up Volatile Armor, go in. Now with your heroic slash weave, you're gonna want a light attack, heroic slash bash. And in the rotation, you're gonna do that about 4 or 5 times until your venomous claw ticks all the way through, and you can reapply the venomous claw. So I'll just go ahead and show you the rotation. Basically, it's gonna look like buff up, charge in, venomous claw, switch bars, cleave, light attack, reverse slash, switch back, start your light attack, heroic slash, bash. And do that until your venomous claw runs out. And then reapply the venomous claw. If I'm not mistaken, you should have about 3 bleeds on this build. too. Alright, so buff up. Reapply. Back in. Ults up. Go back to the lead. And that's basically your rotation. Now that's of course a static rotation, which under ideal circumstances, you're going to be able to attack your target that consistently. Usually it's more, a little less consistent than that when people are dodge rolling around and running around, but that was basically the rotation. I have hit about 20k DPS. Is like the best pull I've ever had on a dummy, just practicing the weave. Again, of course, that's a static rotation that usually really only applies to PvE, but just to give you an idea, the damage is here on this build. It's quite strong. I think the best battleground I've had is I went like 25 deaths, and then some number of assists with about 800,000 damage. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the build, guys. It's a little bit non-meta, except for the Spriggans. I think Spriggans is pretty common. But yeah, the sheer venom, I really like it. I mean, that's a lot of poison damage. That's theoretically 100% uptime if you can learn to watch the cooldown on your buffs and make sure it just stays on somebody. Usually what I find is people just aren't prepared for the amount of cumulative damage this build brings. They forget to heal as much as they will need to when you're on them. And a lot of times I've just hit somebody, so hard, get them down to about 25% health, and then pretty much just walk away, and they die to the poison and bleeds. It is quite a squishy build, being medium armor. So you are going to need to line of sight, roll dodge, basically just assess the situation, assess the fight, and know what stage of the fight you're in. Know when to go defense. And make sure not to try and 1vx battleground, because that usually never works out. It can be done, but non-CP situation where proc sets reign king and you've got slows and types of stuff coming in severely reduced, you're gonna lose. Battleground is a team-oriented match, or a team-oriented game mode. So yeah, your survivability comes from your fragmented shields, your vigor, your rally, reflective plate of course. One of my favorite things to do is to just walk towards a sorcerer, throw this, and then watch their frag absolutely melt them as it bounces back and I charge them. And my charge and their frag hits them at the same time, and I land the rest of my combo and it just melts them instantly. It's pretty funny when I can line up that. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you liked the build. If you have any suggestions or comments or anything like that, please feel free to leave a... And if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a thumbs down. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. And I'm going to try and also throw up some gameplay video of this build in action, so you can see basically what to expect when you're using this thing in a battleground situation. we've got a duel right here. Let's duel him. Alright, so that's a little bit of the build in action in a CP environment. So speaking of CP, I've mostly played this build in Battlegrounds. So this is not exactly optimized, but this is what I'm running right now when I do run PvE content, or the rare occasion where I do go into Champion Point Cyrodiil campaign. So I've got 31 points in the Warlord for the break free cost. That's super important on a medium armor build because you're rather squishy. 6 in a Sprinter, I think this is just leftover points. 49 in the Tenacity for your fully charged heavy attacks, restoring stamina. We have really good sustain on this build. I think I did forget to mention I am a Red Guard, so it helps having that extra stamina pool. 54 in the Mooncalf for some stamina recovery, 20 in the Healthy. Just over 10% for the reduced cost of block, 26 in Tumbling for reduced cost of roll dodge, 19 in the Blessed, 14 in Physical Weapon Expert, 48 in Master of Arms, 73 in a Thaumaturge, of course, for our poison and bleeds, and 12 in the Piercing, 43 in the Mighty, 56 in the Ironclad, 10 in the Medium Armor Focus, 39 in the Hardy, 38 in the Elemental Defender, and 31 into Thick Skinned. So, if you watched my first build video, my Heavy Armor Magic Sorcerer, you'll know that I'm not CP cap yet, unfortunately. So I apologize for the lackluster CP layout, but it's what I have to work with right now. And this is just more or less a guideline anyways. CP it's a lot of preference. Basically what you feel like your build needs or what your playstyle needs, you can supplement or change to get some changes that you need for, that's okay, for your build. So anyways, I think I covered everything. It was a little less organized in my first video, so I apologize about that. Making sure I didn't forget anything. I don't think I did. 64 in the Stamina. I'm a Red Guard. Mundus Stone is the Serpent. Dubious Camera Thrones of Food. Preferably, I would like to start using Artane Takeaway Broth. Gotta grind up some gold for those, though. They are quite expensive. And that's that. Again, thank you guys. I'm gonna probably include some gameplay video tacked on to the end of this video. And thank you all for watching, and have a good day.